Hello and welcome to another off-season edition of Hawks Recap. The NHL has just unleashed the new digs, the new uniforms for all 31 NHL teams for this upcoming season. If you recall, the NHL has switched uniform suppliers from Reebok to Adidas starting next season. This is the first time this has happened since 2007, which was a decade ago, when Reebok took over for CCM. When these kind of things happen, teams get some uniform tweaks, some design changes. So I'm going to go over all of those in this video, mostly for the Hawks, even though they didn't really change all that much. Their original 6 team, no uniform supplier is really going to do much with them. But I'm also going to look at the Central Division and also recap kind of what teams I think really upgraded and what teams really look like poop now. So let's just jump right into it.
So let's start out with the Hawks. Like I said, and to the delight of many, nothing really changes. The only thing you can really see that's different from the Reebok version is that the NHL shield now sits on a pentagon shape in the collar rather than kind of a more of a sharp triangle kind of area. So the Hawks sweater has pretty much remained unchanged since the mid-1950s, and that is not changing with the switch to Adidas. So that is good news, which means it's a good day for the Hawks fans and therefore the world. Looking at the rest of the Central Division, starting with the Avalanche, the Avs really upgraded their look. They moved back to their angled mountain hems on the bottom of their jerseys, a style they wore back when they won the Cup in the late 1990s. It's a nice change, and I would say probably one of the better changes coming out of the Adidas uniform unveiling. So props to them for making that change. They are going to look much better next season. Next up is the Blues. Their jersey pretty much remains unchanged, very similar to the Hawks, except the only difference they've made now is that they have white numbers instead of their traditional yellow. In my mind, it's a toss-up. The yellow obviously has historical value, but the white numbers really don't look all that bad in my eyes. So it's a toss-up and kind of a lateral change in my mind. Meanwhile, the Winnipeg Jets, very much like the Hawks, remain virtually unchanged, the only change being in the collar area. Otherwise, they're going to look exactly the same as you are used to. Moving on to what I would consider the biggest downgrade of the unveiling, the Nashville Predators unveiled their new jersey, and it looks very, very unfinished. You'll see the new jersey on the left here. The right is their old jersey. They removed the piping, which was a good thing, but in doing so, they also edited the stripes on the sleeve and on the hem at the bottom of the jersey, and it just doesn't look good. The only thing that could save it, and we'll have to wait until we actually see these guys wear it on ice, is if the Predators move back from a yellow helmet to a blue helmet. That might give the jersey some symmetry with the rest of the uniform. But if they stick with the yellow helmet, this jersey is just not going to look very good. Next up is the Dallas Stars, where much like the Hawks and Jets, their jersey basically remains unchanged from the Reebok version. Once again, the only change coming in where the NHL shield sits in the collar. But other than that, they're going to look exactly like the Dallas Stars you're used to seeing. Lastly, the Minnesota Wild made a pretty drastic change, deciding to go with their green jerseys for their home look over the red, and replacing the script name with their primary logo. They've also decided to go with a horizontal stripe, very similar to what you would see on the Montreal Canadiens jersey. And they also added some sleeve stripes with a little hint of red in it. It looks pretty good and it should look very good on the ice as well. A nice change in my mind. Now, we couldn't end this video without talking a little bit about the expansion franchise of the NHL, the Vegas Golden Knights. they unveiled their uniform as well. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. They have some nice little kind of embossed patterns in their sleeve stripes and logo at the center of their uniform. And their template is very similar to the Arizona Coyotes template. So you can see those similarities there. It should look pretty good on the ice. I'm excited to see how that all looks and kind of how this expansion franchise kind of shapes themselves up to be. One final thing for real this time that I wanted to point out was what I thought was the biggest upgrade of the unveiling, and that would go to the Carolina Hurricanes. In my book, they really upgraded, transforming their bland look into a return of what they should look like, with the warning stripes and everything. Something they wore when they won their cup, when they first moved from Hartford to Carolina. They look really good. I'm excited to see how they look on the ice.
So that's my take on the uniform unveilings from Adidas for this upcoming NHL season. I'm interested to know what you think of it, what you liked, what you didn't like, what surprised you, what maybe you thought should have changed with some of the designs. Interested to hear. Leave your comments down below. And until next time, stay safe, make good decisions. And I'll see you shortly because the expansion draft is coming right up.